go ahead and come into your comfortable seat as we prepare for our practice, which this is actually part of the practice, right? This is part of the practice. Just align that. And you can close your eyes or just cast your gaze down in front of you and start to tune into your breathing. Feel free to stretch your breath out, taking big inhales and big exhales. Anytime we pause and what I say, connect with our breath, right? Where we're paying attention to the breath, maybe even, taking a little bit of control of it by deepening it or whatever. Every time we do that, it gives us a chance to check out of the chaos around us and check into ourselves. And deep within all of us is this place of peace and calm. And the more we practice this, the easier it is to get to that space. And even if you only do it for a minute, you'll start to feel the positive effects and the benefits of this. So if you haven't started deepening your breath, go ahead and do that. We'll take a couple deep breaths here. And then wherever you are in your breath cycle, exhale out here. On your next inhale, slowly raise your shoulders up towards your ears. And then roll the shoulders back and down as you exhale. And then keep the shoulders back and down a little bit here. So just a little engagement in the muscles. And lower your chin towards your chest, stretching the back of your neck. Raising your head up. Turn your chin to your one shoulder, just turning your head to one shoulder. Coming back through the center and turning your head to the other shoulder. Come back to the center and drop the chin down towards the chest. Now lift your head back up and turn your head to your right shoulder. So the head's staying upright for right now. And then drop your chin down towards the shoulder. And then continue bringing it down around the front, just sort of almost grazing your collarbone, coming back to that center space, and then gently taking it to the other side. Bringing it to the left shoulder and then lifting the chin up a little bit. And so we're going to move this way for a few more rounds, dropping the chin down, bringing it around to the front, and then bringing it up to the opposite shoulder. So I call this drawing our smiley. We're drawing a nice big smile with our chin. Make sure you're breathing. So the next time you get to that left shoulder, come back to the center, and then we'll all raise our heads back up. Good. And take a nice breath in and out. Now let's just take our hands in front of our hearts, expressing some gratitude for some goodness in your life. setting an intention for practice, or at least asking and answering why you came to your mat today. What do you need from your practice today? Inhaling together, let's reach our arms up overhead. Separating the hands, exhale, bring the arms down by your side. All right, if you would switch your legs, unless it's absolutely impossible. All right, and then we're gonna take our hands out in front of us, spread your fingers nice and wide. And on an inhale, stretch the arms out. And then on an exhale, pull the elbows in. And when you stretch out, you can sort of go up on a diagonal. You don't have to go up that high. Pull it in. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, pull in. So continue with this move. When we pull in, pull the elbows down a little bit too. So draw them, almost like you're coming down to a point, like a little V at the bottom there. Inhaling, extend. Exhale, pull in. Just a few more of these. Let's go for 2 more. Finishing out that last one. Great. All right. And just releasing the hands down for a moment, resting there. So that movement helps to access our middle trapezius, right? And I've been talking about this all week, but the upper traps, this muscle here, we overuse this all the time, And this time of year, we're like, right? A lot of us, not everybody, but so when we get into the middle traps, it sort of offloads, releases this part. Kind of makes sense and helps to turn on those muscles so they're like, hey, we can help you out. Upper traps, we're here to help. So anyway, all right. So moving once more, we're just going to do some seated cat-cow. So inhale, open the chest, pull your arms back. Exhale, round the upper back, tuck the tail, tuck the chin. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. And then just go through a few more of these at your own pace, moving with your breath. So we're focusing a little bit more on our shoulders today. Now let's just go for about 2 more of these, and then we'll move from the seated position. All right, and then we're going to release that out. And then let's go ahead and bring those feet out in front of us. So you can just rest on your hands behind you, and then let's just windshield wiper those knees a little bit since we've been sitting for several minutes now. All right, nice. And then let's go ahead and swing those legs around. We'll make our way to a tabletop. And then finding our way into heart melting or puppy dog pose. So just make sure your knees are right under your hips. Keep your hips there. Walk your hands forward and lower your forehead down to the mat. And then focus on melting that heart center down towards the ground. You may also feel like you're sort of pressing your armpits down. Staying on your forehead first. And if your neck is happy and healthy and you feel comfortable doing so, you can place your chin on the mat. And that usually helps you get a little deeper, but it also puts that neck in a big extension. So that may not be appropriate if you have any sort of disc issues in your cervical spine. So come back to that breath. Big inhale and exhale. All right. And then let's slowly make our way back, lifting up, sliding those hands back. Good. And then make your way to a down dog. Let's curl those toes under, raise those hips up. Pedal out your heels. Move any way that feels right for you. Good. All right, and then find stillness in the pose if you haven't done so already. Find stillness. Press the heels down. Hold those heels down towards the earth. Take a breath in. Exhale it out. On your next inhale, come up onto the toes and roll forward into a high plank. Abdominals engaged. And then as you exhale, lift those hips, press back to downward dog. So we're going to do this a couple more times. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, lift those hips, press back, down dog. So try to let your abdominals almost initiate this movement as you come forward and then press back. You know, obviously lots of things are working together here to make this happen. So we're going to finish in a plank. So make your way into a plank. Feel free to bring your knees down. I'm going to bend those elbows and lower all the way down. Press the tops of your feet into your mat. Keep the legs engaged and inhale, find cobra. Good. Lower the chest. Curl those toes under, push up to plank, high or kneeling. And make your way back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, full breath out. And then start to walk your feet up to the top of the mat. When you get there, inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Let's inhale, reverse swan dive. Sweep those arms out and up. And exhale to mountain pose. Coming into chair pose, inhale, bend your knees, hips go back. We'll bring those arms up. We're going to keep this chair foundation. Make sure you can see your toes. And then take your arms back behind you. See how far back they can go. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the arms back and reach up and back. So work within your shoulders range of motion here. Keep your abdominals engaged. Of course, we're rooting through those feet. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend it back. Good, let's go for one more. Inhale up, exhale it back. And then to finish, inhale, bring the arms up, and then exhale, dive down to your forward fold. Inhale and come into a half lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to your plank. Any variation of a vinyasa that you want to do here, go for it. Flowing through your way to downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. Take one more full breath in and out. And then make your way up to the top of your mat. Hop, step, crawl, bringing those feet to the top. Let's inhale to a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale and reverse swan dive. Reach those arms up overhead. Exhale to mountain pose. Inhale, tall mountain, reaching up. Exhaling, swan diving it down, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, plant your hands, make your way back to your plank, flow through. I'd like to offer an option to add a little push-up. So from cobra or up dog, go back down, push up, press back. Just an option, but that's an option that gets you stronger, my friends. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, two more deep breaths in and out. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, relax the face. All right, bringing those feet up to the top of the mat. Inhaling to half lift when you get there, lengthening that spine, tummy draws in. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, reverse, reach all the way up. Let's go back down. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold, nice long spine. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, planting your hands, making your way back to plank, lowering to chaturanga perhaps. Inhaling, maybe adding that push up. Pressing it back. Downward dog. Yeah, nice work. So that little push-up thing, You can add that every single time or never again. Your call. Just remember, you get stronger when you do it. Okay, so let's inhale the right leg high to the sky. We're going to bring that foot up to the top of the mat, coming into first a low runner's lunge. Get your balance, establish that foundation, and then let's inhale and rise up to a high runner's lunge. Good. Pause here for just another breath or two, keeping the back leg active. All right, and then adding a heart opener. So we'll stretch the fronts of the shoulders a little bit. You can do fists in the sacrum or interlace your hands. Lift your chest and draw your shoulders back here. Take a few breaths. Okay, we're going to transition here to a warrior three, but let's do something different with our arms in terms of, the regular warrior three. So you can keep your hands bound, or you can move your hands into a reverse namaste. Okay, if your shoulders and hands allow for that, if your wrists allow for that. Feel free to shorten up your stance a little bit to get more grounded. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, start to hinge that torso over your front leg. Draw your abdominals in, and then take all the weight into your right foot and lift your left leg up behind you. Good. Try your best to keep those hips closed. So we want to avoid opening out the hip like we do in a half move. And you can always tap those toes down behind you as you continue to build strength on that front leg. One more breath here. Transitioning to a standing knee lift. Tap down if you need to. Okay, we're going to just start to come up, bringing that knee right in front, and then we'll take those arms down by our side, releasing that out. Draw your abs in, stay strong, and then bring your arms up to frame out your ears. Awesome. I can feel the concentration. Breathe. Okay. Next, transition to eagle pose. You're going to cross your left thigh bone over your right, bend both knees. Tap the toe down for balance. Bring your arms out in front. And you're going to take your left arm underneath your right, bend the elbows, and either place your hands on your shoulders or go for eagle arms, placing the fingertips of the left hand in the palm of the right, elbows up to shoulder height if you've got the eagle arms going, and then possibly see if you can wrap that foot around your calf. Breathe. Awesome. Release it out. Come to mountain pose. Woo. Yeah, shake it out. All right, let's bring the feet out. We've got one more. Okay. Feet come out, heels on the mat, toes off. Come on down to either a yogi squat or go for your malasana pose. Pressing the legs into the arms, arms into the legs. Great place to stay, nice hip opener here. And then if you want to work on building some more strength in that upper body and working on just another balance pose, you can practice your crow or work towards that. If you're working towards it, we bring the hands down in front of us about shoulder width apart, really engaged. It's like you're almost hugging, you're pulling those fingertips in, creating almost little suction cups with your palms. Lift your hips up. Knees come onto the backs of the arms, upper back rounds a lot. We'll have another opportunity to practice that in a moment, or not, because malasana is good. Yeah, awesome. I know, it's like I'm trying to do that one more because for me, that's one I lose if I don't practice it. Anyway, that's enough of that. Hands come down on the mat, lift your hips up, step back to a plank. Inhale, exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the heart. Add optional push-up. Press it back to downward facing dog. Now, if you're wearing a mask and you do that push-up, you get a gold star. Definitely. Actually, even if you're at home and you do the push-up, you get a gold star. But it is harder with a mask on. All right, so let's go for here. Inhale the left leg high to the sky. Exhale, sweep it through, bring it to the top of the mat. Get your setup. Rise up to your high lunge when you're ready. And then let's add that little rinse for the shoulders. Draw them back. Lift the chest. Breathe. Just a couple more breaths here. All right, and then making our transition to warrior three. So changing your arms if you're going that way. Shorten the stance if needed. That'll help typically with grounding. Hinging over that front leg. Find that drishti, that gaze point. Stay focused. Take off. Fire up that back leg. Breathe. Transitioning to a standing knee up. Always tap down. The floor is your friend if you need it, no worries. Okay, bringing that knee up. Take the arms by your side. And then extend those arms straight up, framing out your ears. Hold it here and breathe. Grow taller. Yeah. All right, eagle. Crossing the thigh bones. You can tap that foot down if you need to. Sometimes that's helpful until you get your arms. Okay, right arm under left. Take your pick. Hands on shoulders if you need it. Squeezing those thighs and bending the knees a little more. Dropping the tailbone down can help you get the foot hook. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You got it. Sweet, release it up. Enough of that. Shake it out. Grab a quick sip if you need it, and then we'll meet in Malasana. Okay, so heels on, toes out. Let's go, we're here. Okay, so absolutely welcome to stay here. You can also work on crow pose. If you feel like you want to do another arm balance, you could do Bhuja Padasana, which is shoulder pressure posture. This one you have to have really flexible wrists, but it's typically a little less intimidating because you don't feel like you're going to take a header, okay? So if you want to practice that, you do need to lift the hips up, but this time the hands come behind you. Move the water bottle, okay? And then you need to get those hands in contact with the mat, scoot your feet forward, press the hands into the ground, and then cross your ankles. So basically you're still doing an arm balance, but your butt isn't up higher than your heart like it is in crow pose. Fingers should point straight ahead on that one. But it takes the wrist flexion, or the extension, I guess it is, right? Nice. Is the challenging part. If you had yoga blocks, sometimes that helps because you can put the heels of your hands on the block and let your fingers kind of hang down. But we don't have them right now. So anyway, we do what we can. Good. All right. We done playing? All right. We need to take our vinyasa. Let's go for it. Good. Back in that downward dog. Big deep breath in. Deep breath out. Let's get a little wrist release here. So walk your hands back to your feet. Walk your hands back to your feet. Nice. And then bring your feet about 2 fists width apart. So a couple options here. You can do gorilla pose, sliding each hand underneath each foot, palm up, fingers point back, toes meet the wrist crease. That usually feels pretty good, especially after doing the arm balance stuff. You can bend your knees to help make that happen if you're having trouble getting your whole hand under there. Another option is to ditch that all together and do peace fingers around the big toes. and pull and resist, and that'll give you a little traction in the wrist. That feels good too. Creates a little more space. Good. Nice. Stay here for just a couple more breaths. All right, and then release that out. We're going to walk back out to a plank. So you're going to walk your hands back out, coming into a high plank. And then we're going to rotate open to a side plank. So you can definitely do kneeling if you need to. Left knee will come down, right leg extends to the back of your mat. That's your kneeling version. Or go for the full version. Everybody should be on their left hand. So Sarah, go the other way here. So you go the other way, left hand, yeah. It'll be for where we're going. Okay, top leg, bend your knee and do a little side tree. Good. Bring that foot in front of you down onto the floor and then bring it behind you. What? Bring it to the front, bring it back. Bring it to the front, bring it back. Hold it there, press that foot into the floor, lift your hips up and do a little wild thing here. Ah, yay, see that feels good, right? Maybe. Now, if you're kneeling, just get a nice side stretch there. Okay, now, from here, bring that foot to the front, see if you can grab your big toe, bring it to the top of your mat. You should come to a lunge. If you're kneeling, I'm not sure how to do that, so just everybody bring your right foot to the top of the mat. We're back in a lunge. All good, right? Let's go to warrior two. Plant the back heel down and lift up to Virabhadrasana 2. That feels good. All right, so catch your breath. So just another little thing for our shoulders here. Working on Gomukhasana arms, which is cow face pose. So generally this is the one where you have one arm up, one arm behind you, and you link your hands. Now, not everybody's hands link, right? So you can do this if you don't have anything to hold on to. But if you have a strap, a shirt sleeve, a sock, something, hold that in your right hand, grab it with your left hand so that you get some traction there. And then just reset your warrior two stance. So make sure your front knee's bent, your chest is open out to the side. So you want to turn and face your left long side of the mat. And then inhale, and then exhale, hinge over towards your front leg, right? So that you're coming into a variation, really, of side angle pose. Draw your abdominals in, breathe. Good, and then inhale, reverse back. Straighten your front leg, release your arms, just take them out to the side for a moment. Hands on hips, and then let's adjust our feet. Toes pointing to the long edge of your mat. Outside edges of your feet parallel to the outside edges of the mat. Taking a wide-legged forward fold, inhale, look up. Exhale, hinge over. Hands coming to the ground. Oh, relax here a little bit. Let the head hang heavy. Breathe. On your next inhale, start to walk your hands forward and just so that they're lined up underneath the shoulders here. You're going to take your right hand underneath your face and inhale, sweep your left arm up. So you should be turning towards the back of the room, coming into that wide-legged forward fold with a twist. On an exhale, unwind. And then we're going to take a walk to the right, coming up towards the top edge of the mat. Coming into this low runner's lunge. Now here you may need to tent your fingers or place blocks underneath your hands if you have them at home or something else. Just coming from a lunge to a pyramid flow, but we're doing a long stance pyramid. So keep the legs really far apart here if you can. On an inhale, straighten your front leg, fold over it. On an exhale, bend your front leg, drop your hips down and lift your head. So keep the knee, the back knee off the mat. You get a nice stretch in the quad in the front of that hip. All right, so then let's flow it. Inhale, straighten the front leg, fold. Exhale, bend the front leg, drop the hip. Go through a few more here. Let's go for about 2 more of these. Feel free to linger a little bit if you need to in one of the positions. We will finish in a lunge with the front knee bent. And then let's bring that left knee down onto the mat. Add cushioning under the knee if you need to. We'll be here for a little bit. Bring your hands to your thigh and lengthen your spine. You can even push your hands into your leg to create a little more length. And if you're really aware of your hip flexors and the upper quad, you'll feel just that subtle movement make a change. You'll feel it there. All right, and then adding on from here, let's reach both arms up. And then just a different variation, instead of having both hands bound like we do for Anjaneyasana, go ahead and take your right arm back and see if you can touch the back of your thigh. And then lift the chest a little more and bend back a little more. Okay, so it's just another way to enhance the stretch. And then nice and easy, release that down. Bring your hands down to the ground. We'll lift the back knee up. And then go ahead and just take a nice little hip opener here. Extend that right leg back behind you. Open the hip out of the right leg. And then take a vinyasa. Feel free to add that push-up. Nice. All right, beautiful job. So take a nice big breath in, drink that air in. Exhaling it out. Make your way into a high plank. Inhaling as you come forward. Side plank on the right hand or kneeling side plank. So you're going to roll onto that right edge of the foot. Good. Taking your side tree version, so the top leg bends, resting the toes lightly on the inside of that leg. And then tap those toes down in front of you. And then tap them behind you. Tap them in front, fire up the belly. Tap it behind. Tap it front. Tap it behind. Tap it front. Tap it behind. Stay there for a moment. Keep your heel lifted as long as your calf can handle that. And then stretch up. So press the foot into the ground. Lift the hips up. Left arm comes over. Nice little wild thing. Feel free to open your chest a little more to the sky. Breathe. All right. Coming back. Bringing that left foot to the front. Reach down. Grab your big toe. Help it up. And come into that runner's lunge. Yes. All right. Warrior two's next. Plant the back heel down. Lift it up. Open out. Woo. All right. We catch our breath here. Who'd have thought that warrior two? Like, I don't know if you remember back in the day when you first started yoga and you took a class and you held this pose like forever and your shoulders were dying. Your hips were like, or your quads or whatever. Now, not so bad. All right, so it's perspective. Cow face arms. So if you're using something, hold it in your left hand Diana, did you go the other way on the other side? I think so. Yeah, I was doing it this way. Same thing, Alyssa. Yeah, that way. Right, because when you bent over, that was like your arm was on your leg. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, and then exhale. Hinge over like you're coming into side angle. Try to spin the chest open a little bit. Draw your tailbone under. Breathe. Like you need me to tell you that. Just a couple more here. Okay, and then we're going to inhale, lift it back up. Good. And then we'll release the arms. Take them out for a moment. And then let's bring hands to the hips, straighten the front leg, and adjust your feet for wide-legged forward fold on this side. Feel free to bind your hands behind your back for this version if you want. If you want to do something different, that's okay. Listen to your body on this one. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, take that bow, hinging from those hips. Find your edge and then soften a little more. If you've got your hands bound or if you are holding a strap behind your back, just see if those arms can extend a little bit more. And so it's really a shoulder extension is what we're doing there. On your next inhale, start to lift up a little bit, release any bind that you took. And then we'll bring the hands back down onto the mat underneath our shoulders, getting ready for the twist. So place your left hand underneath your face and inhale your right arm up. So you're still turning towards the back of your mat or the back of the room. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears here. On an exhale, unwind. And then pivot your way around to the top of your mat, pivoting on your feet, walking your hands around, coming into that runner's lunge. And then getting ready for our pyramid lunge flow. Long stance with the legs. Grab blocks if you need them under your hands or tense the fingers. Inhale, straighten the front leg, fold. Exhale, bend that front knee, drop the hips. Inhale, lengthen and fold. Exhale, lower. So move with your breath here. Linger a little longer if it feels right or if that feels like what your body needs. Just going for a couple more here. We'll finish in our low lunge and then bringing that right knee, that back knee down. Add cushioning if you need it. Bringing hands to the leg once you get there. And then press into the leg a little bit and lengthen a little more. And let's inhale, reach the arms up. And then taking that left hand down, reaching for the back of the thigh. Staying here is fine, but if you want to enhance, lengthen a little more. Lean back, opening that heart more towards the sky. Breathe. Really lock down in your legs to help you stay grounded. Good. Nice. And then on an exhale, slowly release it down. Beautiful. We'll lift that right knee up. Sweep that left leg back. Open out the hip. Whatever feels right. Feel free to do this in a tabletop, a nice way to go if you don't want to do another down dog. Yeah. And one more vinyasa, my friends. One more vinyasa. You got it. Ah, yeah. Okay. Come into a plank. Inhale. Exhale. Let's lower all the way down. Yay. Let's bring the arms down by our sides. Turning the palms down. Lengthen your legs a little bit, so stretch them long. Inhale, lift the chest, the arms, and the legs, coming into Shalabhasana, locust pose. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. And then let's exhale, lower down, turn your head to one side and relax. All right, and then bringing your head back to the center. You're welcome to do the same locust pose we just did, or maybe work on a bow pose this morning. So we've done a bit of stretching for the front of the thighs and the shoulders, certainly. So you can grab your feet, tops of the feet or the ankles. Okay, if you're not grabbing your feet, you can bend your knees and just lift up, right? With or without the feet. Breathe. Shoulders draw back. Beautiful. Two more breaths. On an exhale, slowly lower down, release. Turn your head to the other side and relax. All right, let's bring our arms to the top of the mat if we're not already there. Bending your knees and just do some gentle windshield wipers side to side. And rest your forehead or your chin on your hands. Good. All right, we'll release that. Sliding the hands back. Curl those toes under. You can keep your knees on the mat as you push up or go right into a plank. It could be a little wavy. That's the new move. It's called a wavy plank. All right, knees come down. And then you can stay in a tabletop or just come to sitting and kneeling for a moment. And this isn't great for everybody's knees, so if it hurts your knees, feel free to stay in the tabletop or sit yourself in blocks. Grab a quick sip if you need it. All right, since it's morning time and we're kind of doing a little bit of an energizing practice here, we're going to actually work on wheel pose potentially this morning. Bridge pose is your go-to. And in fact, we'll, if you're not doing wheel, you'll do bridge pose. We'll all start with bridge. And then I'll give you the option to do a second bridge pose, or you can go into wheel if that's something that you want to work on today. All right. So that being said, let's go ahead and make our way onto our backs. And so the knees will be bent, feet and knees hip width apart. We'll keep our arms down by our sides. Take a breath in here. And as you exhale, press your feet into the earth and lift your hips up. Press down through the backs of your arms, or go ahead and tuck your shoulders underneath you, interlace your fingers. So it's a very similar move to a lot of the stuff that we've been doing today already. Keeping a little length in the tailbone so that you don't compress that lumbar or the lower spinal area. Breathe, breathe, breathe. One more breath here. All right, we'll release the arms if you had the bind, and let's slowly roll it down. Bring the soles of your feet together as you let your knees open out in reclined bound angle. And then option today to take your arms above your head and just rest them there in this passive stretch. Just rest them up, behind you on the ground. Taking one more big, deep breath in and out here. And let's slowly bring those knees back up. If you're taking bridge pose, bring your arms down by your side. If you're taking wheel pose, it's actually better to have your arms down by your side first. Bend your elbows. Bring your hands next to your ears, about shoulder width apart. Hands on the ground. Take a breath in. As you exhale, press your hips up. And if you're going for wheel, press your hands into the ground and lift up. Okay, take your pick. See where everybody's going here. Yeah. Sometimes raising up onto the toes feels nice, especially in wheel. It gives you a little more space in that low back. Beautiful. Awesome job. All right, and then let's bring it down. Nice and easy. Coming back into reclined bound angle. If you like having those arms above your head, go for that. Sometimes it's nice to do goalpost arms here. So when I teach this type of class at night, we hardly ever do wheel pose because it's a late class, and wheel pose is very energizing, as a lot of back bends are. And so ideally, you don't want to be doing a ton of back bends when it's really close to bedtime. It might actually make it harder for you to fall asleep. However, you can counter it with twists and forward folds. So remember that. All right, let's slowly bring those knees back up together. And then if your arms are not out to the sides like a T, go ahead and bring them there. We're going to bring the legs together with the knees bent. Lift your hips up and just kind of shimmy them over to the right side of your mat. So the hips go over to the right side of the mat, and then you're going to drop your knees to the left. So knees to the left. Turn your gaze, looking over your right shoulder here. Inhaling, let's bring the knees back up to the center. And then we have to move those hips back through the center and then take them to the other side. Switching and moving into your twist. Inhaling, let's bring those knees back up to the center and realign your hips once you're up there so that they're basically back into the neutral in line with your shoulders and whatnot. Great time to do a happy baby here. So let's go ahead and lift those feet up, knees come out to either sides, holding onto big toes, your feet or your legs. And sometimes it does feel nice to rock from side to side, and you're welcome to do that. And then if you are rocking, come to the center, See if you can get the tailbone down a little closer to the ground. You'll feel a little bit more happening in those inner thighs. And this is a great way to help the pelvis get back into alignment, especially the SI joints, if you have issues with the sacrum moving around. Not everybody does. Either way, it feels good. One more breath here. All right. And then we're going to release that out. And just bring your feet down for a moment. You can stay here in a steeple knee or hammock pose. And then I would like to give you the option to get your feet higher than your heart here. So you can come into a waterfall pose with your feet up in the air, hips or hands underneath, or hips on your hands or hips on the block. Legs up the wall is nice. And truth be told, if you have shoulder stand in your practice and you'd like to lift your hips up coming into Sharvangasana, you can do your shoulder stand. So you wrap the hips up, holding onto the hips, feet going up towards the sky. Just a couple more breaths. And slowly start to make your way back down. If you have a block underneath you, you can extend your legs long. You can remove the block if that feels better. And if you had your arms by your side, see if you can slide your hands underneath you if you don't have a block. Extend your legs long and point the feet a little bit here. Bend your elbows, lift your chest up. You can keep your head neutral or let the head drop back as long as that feels okay. And you just, if you drop your head back, you want to rest it softly on the mat, right? So little fish pose, not Standrasana. Right? Or you can just stay on your block and enjoy the hip flexor stretch. And just another breath in and out here. And then go ahead and release your fish pose if you took that. Come off your block if you're on it. Any last pose you feel like your body needs, it might just be Shavasana. So feel free to layer up if you need it. Get yourself comfortable as we find our way into that beautiful final resting pose. And then settling in. Feel free to take a deep breath or two to help your body relax. Eventually, just letting your breath take its natural course. Stay nice and relaxed until I ring the bell. And then when you hear the bell, you'll know it's time to start reawakening. So be in this moment, the best present of all. Bring some deeper breaths back into your body. Inviting more energy back in. Start to slowly reawaken. Wiggling fingers and toes. Bending arms and legs. Drawing your knees up to your chest. Giving yourself a little hug. A little rock from side to side. and then rolling onto your side. And using your hands to press yourself up to seated. To make this gradual transition back to the moving world, the doing world. Let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts, feeling the effects of the practice, remembering those blessings in your life, remembering your intention. Thank you all so much for coming to practice with me on this beautiful Friday. I wish you a wonderful day, an even better weekend, and truly heartfelt gratitude for your presence today. Let's seal things up by taking one more breath together, breathing in, breathing out, and then bowing to ourselves and each other, honoring the light within all of us. Namaste. Thank you. Hope you had a good class. As always, let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything. I hope to see you all again very soon. Bye, my friend.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.